Well, you're in for a real treat because next up is one of my most favorite people in the world. In fact, she is the inspiration for some of this book, A Pilgrim's Guide to Walking Wisdom, which comes out on February 5th. And I learned after our talk this morning with Karen Ward, which you really should listen to, that because I was telling her one of the next walks I want to do is in Ireland, and Bridget's walk, and she said, "Oh, well, that's interesting. You're coming out with a book on February 5th because that's Bridget's day." And so there are no coincidences. And Lori and I go way back. We've gone to Peru together. Now we've gone to Portugal and Spain together. And I can't imagine all the other places we're going to go to in our lives together. We live about an hour and a half apart over the Canadian bridge to the US. And we hardly see each other until we get to Portugal and Spain and Peru and parts unknown. So she is going to, if you don't know her, she has an astrology channel with over probably 100,000 followers now. She's become the astrology guru, and she's going to tell you about your signs for next year. And why don't you just take it away, Lori? And I love you, and you are a dear, dear friend.
I love you too. Thank you, Renee. Such a pleasure to be here yet again. I think I've been doing this with you for almost, 2015 was the first I Am Symposium I did together with you, which is really, really cool. And here we are again. This is a very big sky, and I'm going to talk today about some of the massive shifts for humanity that we have in 2025 that are first in a lifetime for us all. And then I'm going to spend some time talking about a beautiful alignment between the North Node in Pisces and Jupiter in Cancer that really begins to take hold in the month of June and really will form the rest of the year for each of us and the world at large. And in each of our lives, based on your sun sign, moon, or rising, you can listen for all three signs. I'm going to give you a bit of advice about that. Now, Renee passed the co-host baton to me, which means she gave me the ability to share my screen, but I don't need to really share it right away. Really, what I want to share is the zeitgeist or the general vibe of next year, to understand that it ends strong and it starts rough, for example. Okay. So we're going to have a very kind of complicated spring full of a very challenging set of planetary circumstances. Mars will be in an opposition to Pluto in Aquarius, which has been a story that is brand new for the world. Pluto in Aquarius full time began in the fall of 2023. And it takes us back to full time, fall of 2024, but it takes us back to the energy of the American Revolution, the French Revolution, and it takes us back in history to times of great schisms between the Catholic Church, like the Protestant Reformation. So we're going to see a lot of upheaval, revolution, and change as a principle for the next 20 years. But it is this time of our lives, particularly the last week of April, that we're going to see Mars come into an opposition to Pluto, as well as on January 3rd, from the sign of Leo, the sign of kings and leaders. And governing and world dominant powers that be can be very leonine. And so we may expect some very big disruptions in those structures in the world and in maybe the United States as well. Donald Trump is a Leo rising. And so this is really active in his chart as well. And it's the first time in his life he's experienced this Mars in the sign of the king, Leo. He's got, little King Regulus, a star of power and wealth and kingship on his ascendant, being opposed by Mars. So you can expect some turbulence January 3rd or so, April 27th in the new administration or in the life of the leader of United States of America. Now, I'm Canadian, so I have no political affiliation. So I'm just talking about the sky. But we'll also notice that as time goes on, we get into some extremely rare and very positive connections to the sky. One of the big things I think that's going to be dominating our news cycle next year is aliens, UFOs, unidentified aerial phenomena. If you think it's hot now, it's hot next year. And throughout to 2026 and 2027. And it's so hot that I am pretty darn sure we're going to see not just like disclosure that's half-assed. You know what I mean? Like, congressional hearings that seem to go nowhere, where people are talking about it, and they're being like. We just had the congressional hearings. People are being pummeled by Congress to come up with, what's really going on, Elizondo and whistleblowers, et cetera. That's fine. We've had that ongoing forever and ever. But we have some new features in the sky that don't look like the same old, same old. Now, it's really ironic that this is happening now. All these drones are flying around, because that's not surprising in astrology, because we have an asteroid traveling through the Sagittarius ascendant of the United States of America in the last 3 weeks and another couple of weeks to go. And that's the asteroid Urania. And Urania only travels through this part of the sky. Actually, Urania will be here for 2 months. So about a month and a half ago, another couple of weeks to go. Urania only can travel through the Sagittarian sky once every 7 years, and that always corresponds without fail to disclosures and UFO sightings and a big hubbub. Okay, so it's always that way. It was 2017, same time of year, November, December, January, 2010. And if you go back and track stuff that was ongoing, they were all disclosures about UFOs every single time, cycles, UFOs, tech. One of them was, I believe it was a 2017 or 2010 whistleblower, United States Air Force guy, said that the government had discovered that identifiable objects in the sky could turn on and off nuclear facilities. Okay, like disable or enable a nuclear weapons site. That's pretty shocking if it's true, but that was one of the kinds of disclosures that was revealed during a time where Urania is moving through the ascendant, or the sign of Sagittarius, which is in the United States, its natal sky, as one of the main charts for the identity of the nation. So that's interesting, but also there's a deeper cycle. And this really deeper cycle is called a Pluto Neptune cycle. Neptune is transdimensional, miasma, trance states, imagination, confusion, delusion. Pluto is excavation of what's hidden from view, catharsis, revelations of things that can be deeply hidden and then radically revealed. And these two planets are archetypes, and they come together in the sky in what's called a conjunction every few hundred years. And they came together. When they come into these conjunctions, we have anomalous sky phenomena. But this actually was funny. You're going to laugh at what I'm about to tell you. I hope you'll laugh, because I'm laughing. Back in the late 1800s, it was 1876 to 1896, Pluto and Neptune joined together. And some people don't remember this, but there was a huge 20-year wave of air sightings, and they called them airships. And they only had hot air balloons and dirigibles in the late 1800s, really. So they would kind of try to describe what they saw in the sky, and they would call them like airships, right? They didn't have modern day rocket ships and stuff, so they would call them airships. And the descriptions varied. And a lot of the descriptions look a lot like some of the stuff we're seeing now, sometimes orbs, plasma balls of light. Sometimes they said it looked like a hot air balloon, because that was the best description they had, or a dirigible with a propeller. A lot of sightings claimed a central white light with a red and white one on the side. Isn't that interesting? A lot of the drones are described like that right now. And then Neptune and Pluto then become reconnected in the sky over time, as the faster moving planet Neptune begins to flow back to Pluto in what's called a sextile, or 60 degrees of a distance away. And that corresponds to the first wave of that sextile opening up mid to late 1940s through to the end of the 50s. And I think some of you might know that was Roswell. That was a massive wave of UFO sightings in the United States. That was Project Sign, Project Grudge, and Project Blue Book. All government programs either to convince the public there's nothing to worry about, Project Grudge, Project Sign to investigate it. Project Blue Book, of course, is a famous UFO investigation. So that all happened in that wave, and that was a part of that cycle. Another wave happened in the early 1980s through to the early 1990s with this sextile forming. That was the Gulf Breeze UFO sightings that were all over the news, and UFO sightings around the United States in the 80s, but also communion. That was the beginning of the abduction phenomena. That was Whitley Strieber's 6 months bestseller on the New York Times bestselling list. You can't make that up. This was John Mack from Harvard coming up with his book Abduction and saying people are having experiences with non-human intelligences personally. This is not just a sighting in the sky. Bud Hopkins, the Betty and Barney Hill case being brought out. Now, if you don't know anything about UFO lore, just trust me, it was a big wave of everything about it during that cycle. And then it went down like a hot, like potato, because these sextile cycles go to a peak and then they wane or fade. So wouldn't you know it, we're in another one of those cycles. It's starting now. It runs through till 2027. And we're coming into another peak of a sextile between Neptune, the god of the fantastical and imaginal and interdimensional, and Pluto, the planet of what is hidden from view from the other world. Pluto is actually not about the underworld, but the other world. But surely he can be the underworld too, which can be under the sea or under the land or under the mountains. And so we're coming into this next 3 years where what is the next wave about? What are we going to learn about this? And what brings us into even a more rare kind of a sky is Pluto gets into that trine to Neptune. I'm going to show that to you now, but then they both end up trining Uranus in the sign of Gemini. And all astrologers have been anticipating this for so long. We are like, what is this thing? And it is thousands and thousands of years rare. I mean, I have to say, this triangle that you're seeing right here, this blue triangle. This blue triangle is embedding in the energy of Pluto and Neptune, which is back to the whole UFO phenomena. And we're going to see this Pluto-Neptune thing all through 2026 and even to 2027. That's not going to go away. These guys keep trining each other, sextiling each other. But this is what makes this year of 25 a game changer. It's that Uranus will move into the part of the sky where he has not been since the time of the American Revolution, in a relationship, okay, to Pluto and Aquarius. So we're going back to very revolutionary times. And also, of course, we had the French Revolution around that time as well. And so we have this kind of intensity here, and Uranus can only be in any given sign once every 84 years. This corresponds to the mid 40s to the early 50s when he was in the sign of Gemini. But it's really this triangle that is something that is so unusual. And it's called a mini grand trine. And it's considered to be highly positive and super benefic. And I think it could indicate that we're all going to be feeling a sense of blessed relief this year ahead. And in fact, this triangle, I called a grace triangle, is going to continually be creating a kite as planets Mars, for example, and Mercury and the Sun come to the early degree starting in August through September of this part of the sky of Libra and make a kite formation in the heavens. Let me show you what a kite looks like. We're going to have August through to September, kite after kite after kite forming here. And kites are beyond successful. They're for the world, they mean something good wants to lift off. In your life, something good wants to take off, and it wants to reach to the top of a sky that is in the Aries part of the world, the charts for the world, and the Aries part of the sky for our individual lives. Because every person here has one part of our sky. Our natal sky is divided into 12 chunks of real estate. This was a Libra sun or rising. This is their marriage house where the kite takes off, right? In August, in September, as both first Mars, then the Sun and Mercury continually create this formation. So not only do we have an extremely rare mini grand trine that we'll have to look back thousands and thousands of years to find in history, but we also keep getting this turning into a kite. So this is why I say the second half of 25 is really great, starting in July. And then this is when this trine really begins to form, is in July. And then the beginning of the year, the first half, is really crunchy. I don't want to focus on all the reasons why it's a difficult time. There's a lot of reasons. There's what we call a Sula yoga in the sky, much of the spring through to the end of April. And that can be very big hardships with money and love stories and other matters to do with Venus, besieged between malefics. And it's all very technical. But I want to point to what's good about the sky. And that is this continually activated little miniature triangle. Now, it's complicated and in-depth because it has, wings all over it. So I can't really talk about that in our time today together without this being a 2-hour presentation. But I will be covering this on my channel. And I don't know if Renee had mentioned, but I'm giving you guys a free gift called it's the annual perfections course that I've taught, and it's a replay with all the documentation cheat sheets you need to time your best life using a simple astrology tool that anyone can use, whether you're deep into astrology or you're new to it. And so that free course is available for you as well, and it can help you understand a little bit about your life cycles. But what I think I might want to talk about here that you guys can harness, because Renee only gave me half an hour, that you guys can harness this is something else that's really, really beautifully rare. Now, in the sky, every single 12 years, Jupiter moves into the sign of Cancer. Okay, that's how long it takes for him to get through a sign. It's 1 year. So Jupiter in Cancer is exalted. You can see him in this picture here, right up here. This is what Jupiter is doing. He's in Cancer, and that's a sign of great power for Jupiter. We call it exaltation. So he brings superior luck, blessings, prosperity, expansion, growth, and wealth in the sign of Cancer. Now, for every single person listening today, Cancer is a piece of your sky. It represents a particular zone of influence. And you last saw this love up. So for a Libra rising or Libra sun, I believe Renee is a Libra sun. For Renee, for example, it will be a big glow up in her 10th house of career, reputation, etc. through when? June the 9th, when Jupiter enters this part of the sky, the exaltation place, through to June 30th of 2026. But it is an indicator of these blessings in the second half of 2025. Now, it's not just that. That's good enough. That's fantastic. But what about the North Node of Fate moving through Pisces? Well, this one is a few hundred years rare. Okay, to have the combination of the North Node in Pisces, which is at every 18-year cycle, corresponding to Jupiter here, which is a 12-year cycle, gives us a very rare formation that is going to mean that where the eclipses are happening, especially the total September 7th lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces, has a superior support and blessing from Jupiter in the sign of Cancer. So this brings something so positive to our lives. I can't even begin to figure it out. I can look at charts of countries, like Israel is a Libra rising. This is going to bring blessings to Libra rising Israel's workforce and to its leadership. Okay, now we can all talk about our politics or not, but this can only be a good omen for the direction of a country that is engaged in very, very difficult circumstances. And yes, and many people disagree with their policies. Yes, but we will leave politics aside. People are Libras, right? Countries can be Libras. Everyone is got their own relationship to the sky. For the United States of America, where you guys are probably a lot of you listening from, Sagittarius is the rising degree of the United States chart. This is the house of its resources financially connected to stock markets, the economy, banks, the Federal Reserve. These monies are amplified in a positive way starting in June through to next year, which is surprising given it looks like we should have a stock market crash. However, that may not be the case. And it may be before then, extremely difficult, but there may be a turnaround. And over here for the United States of America, this is the 4th house of the home and the homeland. And the the things that go on in the culture and the agriculture and the peoples of the nation, the ones who live in America. And so there's something very good happening in the home base of the land of America and the people of America as a result of this. And it can be a new wave of prosperity, a new wave of economic industry and growth that we may not understand yet. You know, the eclipse of April the 19th, April the 8th at 19 degrees of Aries, total eclipse in 24, and the Libra eclipse in this fall of 2023 make an X to the United States of America down in Texas. And I just found out from one of my Patreon community members that the SpaceX by Elon Musk is in Texas around the X marks the spot from the double eclipses that swathe through America in the fall and then in the spring. And it may be a new industry based on space exploration. It may be a new whole wave of the United States moving into new technology that comes from, yes, we know I'm going to say, right, the aliens or the interdimensional beings that are on the way here. It reminds me of the movie Arrival, where the beings came here and they dropped spaceships around the earth, and they basically wanted to support humanity and help us by giving us a new tech, basically a new way of understanding reality, a tool. And we misconstrued it as a weapon in the movie. Go watch Arrival, because in the future we would help them, because they basically were interdimensional beings or time traveler beings. So there's something about the way the sky looks. If you want to think about Roswell, downed air balloons, UFO sightings, 1950s, Project Blue Book, and then you think about the second wave, Contact, right? That was the movie Contact, but the 1980s, it was like the abduction lore. It was Whitley Strieber, Communion, John Mack, abduction. That moved from sightings to contact. We are in contact with this other intelligence. What would the next wave be in 2025 and 26? How far much further can you go from contact, from sightings to contact? What will the next wave be? So that would be known contact, maybe disclosed contact, technological advancements through not open AI, but open alien intelligence technologies. So we'll see what happens. But all I can say is what looks like a dark first half looks like a positive second half. Now, I'm going to attempt the impossible. I'm going to tell you something about your sign based on the Jupiter and North Node story, this angle. And I'm going to be able to do it in about 15 minutes. I don't think I can stay to my half hour without sounding like an auctioneer. So if you take my free gift, then you're going to be able to understand the deep dive meanings of the 12 houses, and you'll be able to cast your own chart on a tutorial that comes with that free course. So because if you don't know your sign, your rising sign, you can find that out through my free gift. But certainly everyone here knows their sun sign. That's pop culture. Now I'm an Aries sun. You can listen for that as well. That's very useful. Your solar chart is actively useful as well. So I'm going to start with Libra just because I'm cued for Libra, and then I'm going to spin the wheel. And I'm going to talk about how July and August and September, those 3 months, are extraordinarily fortunate based on the part of your sky that is represented by Cancer and by Pisces. And we're using the whole sign house system of the ancient tradition. While Placidus may have some usefulness, and if you take my free gift, you'll be able to cast your chart in whole sign houses. I teach you how in a video tutorial, and it's not hard. We need to use whole sign houses in astrology on YouTube. Every astrologer is presuming a whole sign house concept in order to deliver general bell curve astrology information to you. And the ancients used it because you need to use it for Time Lord tools, and it simplifies predictive tools. But it is the most useful way to think about it. Because if you're listening to me today and you go, oh, no, that's not true. Like, oh, I say, look at Renee, her career success is great next year. And Renee says, oh, no, Cancer is my 11th house because she's Placidus and she's got a skewed system. Just trust me on what I'm telling you. Whole sign houses. Once you go whole sign, you never go back. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of my drawings because they won't hold their position. Let's delete the mess. Goodbye, drawings. Yeah, and then we're going to move the sky forward, and we'll start with the hostess with the mostest. Renee's a Libra sun, if memory serves me. I should know one of my besties, but yeah, she's a Libra sun. Okay, and let me just cue for moving us forward. I'm going to say July, August, September. Okay, this is when Jupiter in Cancer is flowing to the North Node in Pisces. And don't forget, there is a big lunar eclipse, total lunar eclipse happening September 7th, baking in a big destined change, for the world, but for each of us in the Pisces whole sign house in our chart. And that's all going to be Jupiter blessed. So start with Renee, start with all you Libras listening. So Libra, sun, moon, and rising looks like you're going to have an uplift in career and work matters. This is opening up a channel to more prosperity financially through an exaltation of your career and workspace where things go extremely well, especially in early August when Venus doubles down on the luck. And, the North Node of destiny for you guys, July, August, September, faded changes in the work environment and with a full moon completions. And some of you may end a career path in order to fulfill a better one. So like retiring or just changing your jobs. And eclipses take up to 6 months to unfold when they're lunar, so it doesn't have to be on the dot September 7th. But in the months that follow, you're probably going to have a destined shift of career, but that brings extraordinary blessings to not only your reputation and career in the world, and certainly this can bring a huge amount of public reputation escalation, being more revered or more celebrated, like a celebrity, more seen, but also just luck. The boss loves you, you get the best promotion, you get the highest level of your dream job. And then of course money will increase as well, because this creates what we call an Artha flow to the second house of earnings. So it amplifies the triad of your earnings, your work, and your career matters. And this is a place of great blessings, July, August, and September. So that is what we have for Libra. And Scorpio, the triangle of goodness here, the trine. I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to take away all the clutter that doesn't serve us. Yeah, I don't like looking at the bits and pieces that are not really a part of the story anymore. So we can keep Venus in there because she's hanging with Jupiter and she looks good. And we'll keep the North Node. And let's just make it a simple picture, right? So you know what we're focused on. All right, there we go. Oh, what's Mercury still doing in there? Bye, Mercury. There we go. That's good enough. Okay, so it's going to look less and less dark, or higher, less darker, but just trust me, the line is here between these two planets, these two houses. So Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising, incredible positive flow is going on here for you in July, August, and September that lights you up when it comes to romantic love and sexual love, pregnancy and fertility. So if any of those are in something you're interested in, or having grandchildren, this is a house of grandkids. So grandchildren are exalted. Pregnancy is exalted, childbirth is exalted, making babies of any kind, a baby business, a baby book, creative processes are amplified. Your artist is going to be on steroids. You can get a book publishing deal, international success. You might go back to school to learn more deeply something you're naturally gifted at, but it will all happen with ease and flow and grace. And Jupiter will want some of you to go learn something or educate yourself. But if you're in the book publishing industry, especially, this is very blessed for you. This is going to amplify your Dharma houses and move you into a deeper purpose. A lot of you will find that there's luck, grace, and ease this summer, July, August, and September, around feeling like you've moved into more of a sense of I'm on my true north. I've got my compass lined up for where I want to go. And yes, you've been blessed by Jupiter this way, 2013, 14 summer, right? But not with the North Node of fate amplifying it. If you're an artist at all, you could have an international breakthrough. And again, it's really great for new romance. And if you're looking for a new romantic partner, look no further than foreign lands, foreign shores, or educational places to meet them. This is a great setup for a love of a lifetime. Entering the lives of single Scorpios, January, February, July, August, and September. And there is an eclipse here. So big changes. Full moon eclipses can bring pregnancy if you're thinking of planning a family or wanting to make a child. There's that as well. Sagittarius, you guys are having this energy of an exquisitely rare flow between the luck of Jupiter and chunky money, eighth house matters, flowing to the North Node in the fourth. Now, well, you can maybe say, what does luck mean to you? This is the inheritance house. And so if you're a Sagittarius expecting to receive money from up the family line, you may indeed find that is coming through your chart anytime between June of next year and July of 2026. But there's something so special about the summer. So July, August, and September, destined fated changes of home, especially September, add 6 months, where you have the financing to buy that new home, or the most beautiful and lucky opportunity to sell a property as well. Mortgages, banking, and loans are blessed. Stock market investments can be extremely lucrative for you. And you may also find that matters that connect you to your finances with your spouse are particularly auspicious if you have a spouse, and your jointly held monies can really rocket this summer. Like you guys are like, wow, we're in the money kind of thing. And again, it's not just about the summer. It can last till July of 26, July 1st of 2026, but there's a huge momentum throughout July into September for you. And these are also moksha, spiritual liberation energies. And so you might find yourself diving more deeply into spiritual truth, wisdom, occult mysteries, and magic, and having a great sense of power and success by doing that throughout the summer months into the fall. So Capricorns, you guys get this energy flowing into the marriage house. And obviously, if you're single, this is a really beautiful story. And with, Venus joining in the summer, that would be a dream new relationship coming your way, likely destined and fated because you were traveling, or you met them in an online setting or learning, or by the way, in our modern day, dating apps belong to where the North Node travels. So it's a wonderful time for single Capricorns to really find the dream partner. And if you're in a relationship, you might want to get engaged or move in together or get married. Jupiter, Venus energies this summer want to take it to the next level and to enhance the relationship and grow it into something better and bigger. So that's a gorgeous vibe for your long-term love story. And, it also opens up a channel to greater exposure to other people that are important to you. And so good and lucky and prosperous and positive spiritual teachers or gurus or guides or just good people who bring you luck enter your life during this cycle. It's an ideal time for more travel that brings you luck, July, August, September, and engaging in any travel at all will be fortunate for you. And writing projects and contracts and legal contracts around writing projects can be really lucrative as well. And finally, the North Node is in a house of communication. And so a lot of you do online work. A lot of us are social media beasts, This will expand your social media success if that's a part of your wheelhouse. And you'll have greater success with your audience and marketplace than you've ever seen before in a way you've never seen before, July, August, and September. Probably wondering what the A is. That's Urania, the asteroid for the outer space stuff. I was in there. I forgot to remove them. So Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you're turning into an alien and a space interstellar traveler. But this is what you're going through in July, August, September. Your first thing you're going to notice is that, this North Node is asking to increase your earnings, increase your money, and increase your savings. That's what the second house means, an increase in your financial wellness. And of course, there's an eclipse here as well. So, and it's full light, full moon. So big changes in the way you make the money that creates a greater resource base for your financial wellness. That's something you're going to see also dovetailing with this work house. The sixth house is literally the job we do, the service we create, the employee-employer place as well if you're employed. And though if you're employed, you're going to get a raise, a promotion, or you're going to be enjoying the work, but also you're having luck there. So lucky breaks, prosperity, and financial increase in the work and career matters. And it lights up all of this. This is the water trine of your career and work and purpose matters. So you're increasing success. And it looks to me like you have a lot of luck because Jupiter isn't just about money and prosperity. He's also about fortune. And so good fortune befalls your career and your money, and you're, increasing your stature in your career as well. Jupiter can make you the boss if you're not the boss, right? You can rise to the stature of boss. And employees. If you're a boss, you can increase your employees in destined fated ways that increases your wealth. And everything about money, career, and wealth is great for you July through to September. So for Pisces people, you guys are going to experience this flow in the house of fertility. And this is where babies are born. And Venus is the sperm and ovum goddess, and Jupiter represents children and family. And so for any Pisces who is thinking of having a family, you can definitely see a huge amount of prosperity, fertility here in the fifth house. And when Venus is joining in, it's a particularly auspicious August for getting pregnant. But it's also just Jupiter in general is here, June of next year. June of 25 to June of 26. And so that's a whole year-long auspicious fertility transit. It's a lottery winning time, especially when Venus joins in. So August, you could win money in a lottery. But more deeply, it's the house of joy. And so Jupiter and Venus, and especially Jupiter, say, what inspires you? Where are you enthusiastic? What brings you joy and enjoyment in life? Because you need to find that spark. And Jupiter brings it. He tried to bring it, 2013, 14, but not with complicity with the North Node. And this means that you are expanding your footprint of identity. You are focused on you, not your significant other, which a lot of Pisces tend to sometimes do because the service is over here. You want to be of service to your partners. No, this is different. You are expanding your identity. You are expanding your sense of self. You are having a sense of fated expansion of who you are that you haven't seen since 2004, 2006, 7, and 8. That's the last time this eclipse cycle happened here, but not with Jupiter helping out. So it's completely different. It could be an exquisite time to start your own business because this is the house of entrepreneurship. And if you're thinking of that, I'd say launch a business anytime, July, August, September, incorporate, go online, start the whole ball rolling. If you're an artist, your art will be doing extremely well and you'll have lucky breaks. If you're a writer, you can get a book publishing deal or publishing contracts under this sky. And if you're somebody who wants to, amplify your existing sexual energy and your existing long-term love story, you might have a very hot summer, July, August, and September with a lot more fun and love in the existing love relationship that you already have, but not at the expense of you. You focus on you and everything falls into place. You are aiming for an expansion of your own definition of worldly success next year. So if you're in Aries, this is going to be very blessed for your home life, prosperity, and real estate. It is a fertility transit as well, in the sense that Jupiter means expansion of numbers of people in your home and children in the home. So if you are in Aries and you want a child, this also can be very good for auspicious fertility transit. Venus is love and beauty in the home. And if you're single, love and romance close to home. So it's a good summer for you, especially July, August, September, for a new romance close to home, fertility and pregnancy in the home, a birth of a child in the home. Things to do with your family of origin can be blessed. Your mother in particular gets collateral blessings, and you might get some wealth gifted to you from your mom or your dad or somebody in your family of origin just handing you a chunk of money. That's often the case when a Jupiter transits here, let alone the North Node. Now, the North Node is a deeper soul search place. The North Node is asking you to go into a kind of a deeper investigation of past lives, the Akashic records, how you can be prosperous for things you do in solitude alone, like a creative project. The North Node is also helping you liberate from old karmic patterns that don't serve you and the ancestral and childhood stories that hold you back. So, I mean, I would say it's a great time for family constellation work. If you've ever heard of that, Google it this summer to really help liberate things that are stuck. For example, prosperity stories from your childhood that hold you back from being prosperous could be unglued in the summertime. There's always a chance of some inheritance money with Jupiter here. It's a legacy wealth transit. So maybe there literally can be inheritance money as well. And so that's something that July, August, September may bring to you. It doesn't have to be just your money. It could be also inheritance money from your partner and their family of origin as well. based on where Venus is sitting in the summer. So that's a possibility too, expanding your own prosperity through the money that your partner can receive if you're in a partnership. All right, Tauruses are having the story happen in the third house, which is wonderful for you artists and creatives who write. This is the communications, but particularly the writing house. So prosperity, success, and luck through the act of writing. This is social media outlets, and being on social media can be extremely lucrative for you and very successful because the North Node is in the house of celebrity and influence over groups of people. Your influence over groups of people in the social media sphere can vastly increase. If you're not in the social media sphere, then the story might be more about new love through friends, groups of belonging, and introductions. This can also bring you great luck and prosperity through things that have to do with your sibling one younger than you. So your sibling one younger than you can bless you and bring you great prosperity under the sky of July, August, and September. You might also notice that with this kind of combination, you're going to activate the marriage house. It's all collateral benefits this way, these houses. And so if you are looking for a longer term partnership, not just a fling, then I'm encouraging you July, August, and September not to be afraid to do a dating app. That's where Venus, Jupiter hang out, because you could actually pull off a long-term partnership out of a simple, Tinder activation or something, or Plenty of Fish. Don't be afraid of that. It's really good for travel as well, and romantic love and travel blending together, and maybe meeting someone because you're traveling. And writing projects, for sure, go for it. Great success coming off of that energy of writing and writing projects. Communications projects. All right, let's talk about Gemini. This is all about money for you guys, and you're going to increase financially no matter what. Like June of 25 to June of 26 anyway, that's Jupiter's story. But it's also now blessed by the North Node in the career house, and it points to the increase of your financial wellness being through your career expansion. It's not coming because of necessarily an inheritance or a win in the lottery or a stock investment. It's coming through your earnings and resources and possessions, the second house. Usually that's our earnings from our career, and it's expansion of that career. And Rahu means worldly success. It's all the things that in the matrix, Cypher wanted to go back and get the goodies. So you're expanding your career success, you're expanding your earnings, and you're expanding your enjoyment of your work as well, with the flow, of course, to your sixth house. So it's Artha houses are super lit, and you could certainly say you're lucky in money, okay, during this cycle of July, August, and September. And it's a good time to be proactively lucky in money by, say, doing career maneuvers that, like, ask for the raise, get the promotion, advance into some area of bold daring, because you're succeeding in your career and money stories, July, August, and September. And when we move to the sign of Cancer, it is going to open up you being fertile, you being pregnant, you being lucky. You are all of these things. So certainly it's good for fertility for real. It's good for feeling like you're pregnant with every possibility there is. It's go big or go home. It's the sky's the limit. It's you being Jupiter. So Jupiter's with you for a year, June of 25 to 26, but like, holy man, hold on tight, right? Because you've never experienced this one in your lifetime. You get to be a lucky Jupiter, and you also get to have this North Node expansion. It can definitely have the archetype of succeeding in your purpose, because the meaning of life and the purpose of life is the ninth house. So just categorically, I succeed in my purpose beyond my wildest dreams. More specifically, my book publishing deal. More specifically, my higher academic ambitions. I got accepted to Harvard. Or more specifically, success in a legal court case. Or more specifically, success in your visa applications to foreign countries, or traveling and moving to a foreign country, are things that the North Node in the ninth house could accomplish for you. Activates joy, fun, prosperity, pleasure, and a sense of moving into purpose with ease, grace, and flow. And you get to feel a lot of that as true July, August, and September. And you could get pregnant, especially with this in August. So you or your partner, I don't care if you're the guy or the girl, it's pregnancy, it's fertility. Gender is irrelevant here. All right, we're rolling to two more. And then I did this in a lickety split auctioneer way. You are a Leo, and you are looking then at this is very soul worky. The best I can say is if you make digital revenue, online income, because you are borderless in your income and your money comes from foreign places and foreign people, then this is a bonanza of ka-ching money coming off the 12th house of money from distant shores. However, it's also about soul work. And this is gurus, ashrams, spiritual advancements, spiritual enlightenment, spiritual liberation is possible. Disconnecting from karma, drama, vows of chastity and poverty, childhood wounds. You're activating a huge shift of consciousness, and it's going to take you into deep places. And some of you may completely excise yourself from some of the bullshit of your family of origin, the lessons you learned that didn't really serve you. It amplifies your chunky money in a real practical way. You sell a property, you get a lot of money. You get an inheritance, you get a lot of money. So you can increase your financial resources that aren't your daily paycheck in dramatic ways. Stock investments as well, especially if you're investing in foreign stocks, foreign countries. Be careful, of course. You use your financial advisor, but it's very prosperous in the chunky money sky. So if I wanted to sell a house, I'd do it under the sky, July, August, September. You're going to go ka-ching. And finally, if you're involved in the occult mysteries, you want to learn tarot, astrology, the hermetic arts, anything to do with the occult, talking to dead people, the North Node is amplifying your 8th house of the occult mysteries. And then you can make prosperity happen here, especially if you use that occult knowledge to sell services, for example, online. So this could be very much about a new level of excursion into the mysteries of the occult world and then prospering because of it. And the last sign is Virgo. Virgo, it is a huge bonanza for you. This is the windfall house. This is the lottery win house in terms of windfalls. Jupiter is in his joy and his highest strength in this house. Venus, of course, adds some fuel to the fire in August. So August looks like prosperity central, but it's also luck in money and windfalls and increase in the salary you have in the career, like not just a promotion, maybe a double jump in your money from your work, maybe a massive amount of increase in your success in your career. This is the gains of the career here are going to go on steroids July, August, September. It also flows to the marriage house, indicating increase of success in long-term committed love stories. And this may mean a major change of status. If you're with somebody, it could be engagement or setting a wedding date or something like that. If you're not with somebody, then destined, fated new love is coming to you, but you're going to meet them in groups of belonging. Like you go off to a concert or a social group or a friend introduces you. That's what these meanings are. If you have a sibling one older, they're going to bless you next year, especially July, August, and September, with superior blessings of some sort, help, favors, financial help. So a sibling one older for Virgos is a huge blessing for you. And finally, you open up this sort of energy of 11, 7, and 3, which is to say, travel, learning, communicating are very open-ended yays for you. So that is also super sweet. North Node, though, will expand the existing love story. When you're in a relationship, it's wanting to change the terms of service to something better and bigger than it already is, and that it up level it, right? That's what it'll do. But if you're alone, it just means destined love partners want to come in, especially off that full moon eclipse in September, and this energy building up in August. So I look to singletons looking for love, July, August, September. Don't be afraid to go out with your friends to the concert, or a friend blind date sets you up, do it. Or travel can lead to new relationships as well for single Virgos in the summertime. All right, I pulled that off. That's a miracle. I pulled that off. It's dark. It's pitch black here in Vancouver. Thank God for my ring light. Now, Renee had to run off to fix a problem. I don't know if she's on her phone still, but Renee, do you want to shut us down?
Oh, I'm still here.
Okay. I did go over. I was.
You know what? It's just like it. This is what it is.
I know. I never make it in half an hour, do I?
It's all right. But I love it. And you had wonderful things to say about me and all the people in this other channel here. They're all happy, happy, happy. So
all right.
Thank you very much. And
so
we will talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing 25. Ciao, ciao.